core of how to operate an office, I think it's going to be really hard for you. I encourage you, if you've never worked in an office, go work in an office, manage an office, see what their life is like. And you'll have a lot of empathy for what they do and then helping you build your business in the future. But things have to change. And I love this slide because all businesses, all industries, all practices have to go through some innovation at certain times. Each of those light bulbs in this slide represent a time where we had to innovate at PDS in order to continue to grow. So we're at, say that last light bulb there, to grow into PDS Health. So the journey up to that point, I've kind of talked through some of that. But I tried our first integrated practice with a physician in it in 2017. And I learned a lot. It was really hard. There were 2 different electronic health systems. And what I learned is they don't talk to each other. I thought it was going to be really easy. But dentistry is the only healthcare field where we have a separate language. We have a separate CDT coding system. We get to build drill and fill, so to speak. Drill, fill, and bill. Physicians can't do that. So they're totally different. And I had to figure that out. And I did figure out that if I wanted to go after this in a big way, I had to move to electronic health record that made sense for everybody. So we did move to Epic. Epic is the absolute best integrated healthcare record in the world. It's massive. And I think it's had a massive change on who we are as an organization, because now all the physicians, all the dentists, all the clinicians have access to the same health information about the patient, so they can think about the patient as in their whole body health. We have a saying in our company: patients don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And a great way to show you care is to talk about them as an individual with individual needs around their overall health. To show how powerful it is, that's why I put this slide up there. It's not an Epic pitch, but we're moving there, and I'm sold out on it. We're going to have 100 million transactions happen on Epic this year. 100 million times clinicians are grabbing the patient records. I never thought that would happen. It is expensive. So you guys that are CEOs in here have to make these capital calls, capital allocations. It was a $125 million expense for us, and I had to convince 14,000 team members that they had to change the way they operate in the office, because they had to change. It's an organizational change. It was the single biggest gutsy move I've ever made as CEO, to tell them that we were going to do this, plus all the trying to convert that electronically was a massive risk. I mean, if we had a hiccup, we wouldn't make payroll. That would be the end of the company. But glad to say we did it. We started the implementation, this is a fun fact, April 1st, 2020. What was going on April 1st, 2020? I think dental was mostly non-existent in the US. A little thing like COVID got in the way. But it really, in hindsight, helped us out because we got to roll it out slower. We were finished by 2023. We have already paid back that $125 million and more through the integrations, through our mouth-body connection, and through all the things that are powered by Epic, especially revenue cycle management. So that's what brought us to PDS Health, and why I changed the name to PDS Health. This was a great quote by the Smithsonian. I'm not going to read it, but basically saying, look, things are changing. Dentists and physicians need to work together. And inflammation is the glue that will bring them together. And we can use, in my mind, we are going to use saliva and saliva science and saliva assessments and saliva screenings and saliva tests to figure out so much more about patients on what we can do to help them. And again, it's not just periodontal disease, but that's the big one. Because the single biggest chronic inflammatory disease in the world is periodontal disease. Single biggest chronic inflammatory disease in the world is periodontal disease. And the people that have it most are seniors. And in America, we're going to see a 50% increase in seniors in the next 14 years. So back to OODA, observe, orient, decide, act. We are intensely focused on that. You'll see the literature. I'm just going to clip through some of these really fast. I mean, there's so many articles about this, and some of the studies out there about improved health, saving money. That's from Harvard. This is on periodontal disease, the numbers that have it. That's an old study. So if anybody's here from the CDC that studies from 2013, we need to update that study because those numbers are way up. This is a study from Mayo Clinic, how we reduce healthcare costs by what we do as dentists. I think dentistry is going to play a major role in Medicare Advantage in the future because they're all about helping reduce costs. There's something about blood pressure. If we're not taking blood pressure on every patient when they come in, who's going to help them about their hypertension? And who better than dentists to be early with patients? It's all about early intervention if we want to reduce healthcare costs and if we want to help people be healthier, live longer, and live stronger. And people go to the dentist way more. They average three visits a year with us. I don't know what it is with you, but that's 3 times we get to interact and show them we care. And I'll show you some more in just a sec, but and brain health is gigantic. The connections between P. gingivalis, blood pressure, and brain health is huge. And if you've read the studies lately, early onset dementia is going through the roof. Alzheimer's is going through the roof, and we can help. We're empowering clinicians and patients with data. So we're using Epic as the core. 300 million people in America alone have a MyChart patient record so we can communicate with them on an ongoing basis. And I know you guys can do it too with other health systems, other EDRs. So again, I'm not just pitching Epic, I just happen to think it's the best. I'm very biased. But using CBCT and AI, I've never seen a 2D tooth in my life. So thank God we're finally moving to 3D and A1C testing and all that we can do, carotid intimate screening, a super simple test. Dentists are set for this. Dentists have it in their DNA. They're taught early on to look for small problems and find them. Physicians are mostly around sick care and helping once they're sick. Dentists find stuff that's wrong before. So they are primed for this. I think dentists could lead the primary care healthcare teams. And again, I'm biased there. But we are integrating physicians and nurse practitioners into our practices, but we're using the power of data to do it. That's sort of where we are now. Now we're on a journey here as PDS Health. It's hard. It is really hard, but we are dedicated to it and we're doing it. Now you may ask, and Brian wanted me to hit on some core things. You may ask, okay, what's the core business doing? Our medical business is like a $10 million business. We're on track to do 3.1, 3.2 billion this year as an organization. So it's a tiny, tiny little piece of our business. But core, as we build, we have a couple other businesses we've created too. But the core is dental. And here's the key. Growing offices every year. Profitably growing offices every year. I think it's the #1 metric. I heard the PE guys talking about EBITDA and talk about some other things. This is how you get EBITDA. You grow profits, keep your costs down, you grow EBITDA, you get money. That's how it works. You grow your business. From the core business standpoint, it's a super, super simple business. From an operational standpoint, it's massively complex. But I would encourage you to look at your growth rates of every office. We look at it by vintage, and our offices are getting older and older. So the #1 I look at is 12 plus. And we're growing, that was, I think, year to date, we're growing 5.5%. We had a great July, so I think it's up in July, and probably up closer to 6% in July. But it's a key metric. Your return on invested capital, too. They were talking about acquisitions. And you got to look at those acquisitions if you can get that return. I heard them talking about a 10x multiple and how you can get the returns. We only do de novos because the return, we figured out how to do it, and our ROIC is really, really good. We also look at the volume of offices, because here's another key thing we've learned. It's a lot easier to generate profits, higher profits at an office, higher EBITDA, at bigger offices. So we really work on growing all the bigger offices. About half our business, we'll do about 1.6 billion in specialties this year. So we really work on that too. So our core business is strong because we stay intensely focused on what really matters at the core business and try to do our best to manage our corporate overhead to maintain EBITDA. That's how we've been able to stay private for 30 years and continue to grow and continue to grow and continue to grow. I think it is bigger than dentistry. I think we need to think bigger about our profession. It's time to elevate this profession. It's time to think about what we can do as a profession to grow into healthcare, where we're helping people live longer and stronger and live healthier lives, and how you integrate that into your businesses. We've been working on this moment for a long time. Now the moment is coming to us right now in a big, big way. It's coming to you too if you want to engage in that and move down that path of integrating. You don't have to have a medical business too. You can do it in all sorts of different ways. You know, it is hard, but I'm going to encourage you to do it. I wish my mom was here today. I wish she was sitting right here in the front row encouraging me, because we need encouragement. I need encouragement, because what we're trying to do is hard. We're in two industries that have been separated since the 1800s, guys, and changing that paradigm is really hard. But we are working on it. We are going to be known as a company that changed healthcare. We are trying to be the greatest integrated healthcare company in the world. And we are no longer known as a dental company, so no more Pacific Dental, PDS Health, and we are out to do that. I tell my team all the time, I will end with this, is make no small plans. This is paraphrasing a quote. Make no small plans. They do not stir the hearts of men and women to make massive change. So thank you.
We are going to take a very short break right now.